I'm going to bring this back to photography. I'm going to change the questions a little bit because I feel like some of them probably aren't quite as relevant. But I think one that'd be really interesting to know for any aspiring photographers that are watching or listening to this: how does one get a company like Pret a Manger as a client?
So Pret a Manger as a client came through a relationship I had with the agency. One of their agencies was in Norwich, where I
Okay.
was as a photographer. It was a big dog agency, and I was doing some photography for them anyway. And one of their clients was Pret a Manger, and they needed some shots taken for them. And the creative director there, um, James Cannell, said, can you do these shots?" I did the shots, and they worked out fine. I carried on doing, different either product shots or some event shots, and then there came a time when actually James went over from, he went from agency side over to client side, and he actually
Mm.
became the creative director of Pret a Manger. I think he
Okay.
ended up being global Pret, head of creative, whatever.
Nice.
And the nice thing, which I'm very grateful for, is obviously going over there, into London. He could have picked anybody, pick up the phone, open the window, shout, "Is a photographer there?" And I'm sure six people would say, "Yes, here I am."
Yeah.
But he didn't. He said, "No, we've done a good job over here. Can you, come and do the, some work for us there?" So that's what I did. So basically that was relationships. Obviously it was very much, which I think a lot of people, you speak to a lot of people, LinkedIn gurus, experts, whatever.
Mm.
They say it's all about the relationships, building the relationships. You're not just going to do a picture, send it to Pret and say, "Hey, well, can I, now be your photographer?"
Yeah.
I think a different thing is though that is where where now is that you can, a would-be photographer can take a picture and can post it on their social media channel,
Yeah.
being that LinkedIn or Instagram or whatever, and now they can actually tag in Pret a Manger, they can tag in different companies or clients that they would like to work for,
Yeah.
and there is a possibility that, you know their photo, because they've shot something a bit different, a bit unique, they have their own
Yeah.
certain style. There is a much easier way of getting your image in front of, you know, the company, and then there is a possibility, if they've seen that, you can then use that as a way to build a relationship. And then if the actual company does actually, like your picture, tweet your picture, whatever, and then
Yeah.
there is like an inroads there. So that's another way of actually doing it, or just coming up with a style that you are passionate about and want to photograph in this particular style, be that people, buildings, whatever it is,
Yeah.
and then trying to get that picture out there. I mean, when I started, it was very much walking around with a portfolio in a case and knocking on
Yeah.
doors and showing people. Now it's just, that is, then it became websites, but now it's more social media, and it's just getting, he's getting the eyes on there. But trouble is, whereas before in Norwich,
It's gone the other way though, hasn't it? Now where discoverability was tough, but it's gone the other way now where 1,000 people will tag Pret in a sandwich of picture of their BLT sandwich, and it's like, well, okay,
Mhm.
how do you stand out, right?
I think it's very tricky. I mean, people starting out, if they want to get some, commercial work in their portfolios, I always say, if there's a charity that is very close to your heart, whatever,
Mm.
that either you donate to, or you really have some connection with them, try and find a local outlet for that charity, and see if you can actually, help them with some photography. If it could just be photographing, say, Matt Millans, it could be photographing their coffee morning or whatever, or something like that.
Yeah.
But at least then, rather than just taking a picture of somebody, having a generic coffee morning, you can now actually say, actually, this was a job I did for, Matt Millen's coffee morning. and
Yeah.
that if the pictures are good, they might use it. And then that is a way of actually gaining some recognition there. I think you've probably got to be quite more focused in actually what type of photography you wanted to do. Whereas before, I would say I'm a GP type photographer, general purpose photographer, and that is
Yeah.
what I've covered all my life. Now I'm probably focused a bit more on people, but I think you need to be quite sure on where your skills are, and also pick a field or niche that actually has that uses photography on a regular basis.